trying out a little Havana honey when the lady selling the cigars at the cigar shop gives you a cigar for free to try out, even if it is a little micro thing. You best say yes and enjoy that thing. It is literally sweet. Quite enjoyable indeed. Never really had anything like this before, even though it's only going to last me a few minutes. The drink of choice this summer so far has been lemonade on ice with a pinch of Redmond's Relight unflavored electrolyte, which is basically just salt. Dilute that with a little bit of water, pour it all on ice. You get this delicious salty lemonade. Oh my gosh. So I started a new audiobook. The No BS Small Business Handbook, I think, by Calvin Graham. Something, maybe Casey Graham. Was recommended to me by a good friend, and I've really enjoyed it so far. A couple chapters in. And I wanted to do one of the exercises in the book that I learned about today on camera. It's called the 5 Whys. Pretty easy exercise, but maybe that's why it could be effective. So the book's premise so far is all about something called the owner's intent. And if you're new here on this channel, so far we've talked about small business startup and a little bit of like what it means to be a young person, particularly a man in today's world, fighting for what you believe in, even if it is unpopular, uncommon, and seemingly against the mainstream advice. So this exercise, the 5 Whys, and its relation to the owner's intent. The owner's intent is a statement, one sentence, that all other decisions are weighed against. It is the intent of the owner, the person starting the business, the person who owns the business. And there's no wrong way to do this. Off the cuff today, without a whole lot of thought, the owner's intention that comes to mind for me, and I haven't done the full depth of the exercise to get to this point, so this is off the cuff for me, but it has some truth in it. It would be something like, if you asked me, what is your intent with this business idea? It would basically be, I'd like to I'd like to own a business that lets me I'm getting visited by some buzzing buddies. Probably smell the honey. I'd like to own a business. I'd like to start a business that lets me work on exciting projects, operating equipment I love, and affording me the flexibility in my lifestyle It's hard. It's hard, man. It's actually harder than I thought it was going to be. I'd like to start a business that lets me play in the dirt, get paid handsomely, and work on my terms. I'd like to start a business that lets me play in the dirt, get paid handsomely, and work on my terms. That rings pretty true. I'd like to start a business that lets me play in the dirt, get paid handsomely, and work on my terms. Yep. So, once you've gotten to this point, the 5 whys are simple. Why do you want to start a business? I've worked various jobs in this industry, and none of them have afforded me these opportunities in the way that feels right to me. Why is it important to you to be afforded certain opportunities? I have a young family. I care about my health and well-being. I enjoy hobbies and outside of work activities. Why are those activities important to you? Because they make up a large part of who I am. And they're so important to me that I don't want to trade them away for any more work than I absolutely have to. Why is it that you don't want to do any more work than you absolutely have to do? Than you have to do to get by. The bare minimum. Because growing up on a farm work overwhelmed everyone. Including me. And I wasn't allowed to rest. I wasn't allowed to enjoy sitting. I was allowed to be a kid and to explore, but I was never given permission to enjoy it. Why do you feel that work will take away from your enjoyment of life? Because up to this point, I have never found the right combination of things that lets me have all the free time and flexibility, family time, time alone, but also enjoyment of the work, of the job, of the craft that I really want. I want to love the work I do, and I also want to have oogles of free time and oogles of money. So that was 5 whys. And the cigar's out. You know, sitting here, this is not a new way of thinking. But it's funny how at 30, I thought that I would have more of it figured out. It seems, though, that I'm just sort of tipping into the point in life where I've begun to understand a little bit of what actually seems to matter to me, and having the guts, the balls to stand up for that and call it important enough to live a life where I make choices to allow that to be true for me. certainly you can see that the 5 whys exercise, like I've done here, requires you to think about why you want what you want, but deeper than that, to think about, to sort of inquire in yourself, why is it important? Is there some sort of past experience influencing the way I'm behaving today, the way I'm thinking today? And of course there is. I grew up believing that the harder I worked, the more successful I would be. And that hasn't panned out. That hasn't panned out. Because what I'm realizing is that that is in direct misalignment with the way I'm actually experiencing life. I have children who are actively telling me that they care about me being with them, the physical presence of their father in their lives. So it turns on its head this whole idea that the provider leaving the house to go hustle and get it done and work hard is the right school of thought. Yeah, and I totally get that this is something men have been dealing with forever. And no, obviously I'm not the only 30-year-old working through these kinds of things in my life. But there is one life, and it's this one. From my perspective, this is the one. This is my opportunity. So I think it's fair to question that if this is the one life, how much should I worry about making sure that I fit in with the standard ideas? I appreciate you watching this far, if you made it this far. If you are new here, feel free to subscribe. That would be much appreciated. And if you leave a comment or a like on the video, it helps me understand that certain topics are relevant in your feed, in your interest. And these are the things moving around. These are the things that go through my head all the time. And like I've said before, these videos represent a journal of sorts for me. So it's important for me to talk through these ideas. And if I can make connections and help other people sort out similar things, that's awesome too. But for now, I will catch you in the next one.